Well, if we had talked, a year ago, I would have said that it was a pretty remarkable success, that nothing comparable had ever been passed in American legislative history, that the climate movement and the sort of centrist energy world had come together and made a grand compromise that squeaked past the finish line and achieved a absolutely massive amount of public investment in the green transition, at least by American standards. Now, other countries, especially on a per capita share of GDP basis, have prioritized climate more. But America, I think it's important for us all to remember, remains something of a petrostate. And the fact that this happened in America was itself remarkable, unprecedented, and kind of exhilarating,
Yeah.
especially for those of us who had spent years, following or invested in the climate movement and thinking that American politics was simply never going to prioritize these issues, or that in any case it would be a huge uphill battle to make that do that. Here we had a Democratic president, a sort of famous centrist,
Yeah.
who more or less staked the legislative legacy of his entire presidency on the fight against climate change and the need to pursue a green transition. Now, I had issues with the way that that bill evolved. There were things I would have done differently about it. There were other packages I might have attached to it to make sure that, especially renewable projects, could be to kind of get built much more quickly. And was disappointed, have been disappointed that there's been so little movement on that since. But basically, I thought that this was a great success. And I thought that it was also a kind of political success, not in the sense that it built an enormous coalition in support of the IRA, but in the sense that it didn't produce a huge political backlash. And when I thought about the last Democratic president to make a similar push, it was Barack Obama with
Yes.
Obamacare. And the fight against that dominated American politics for a decade thereafter. And we didn't see anything like that
Mm.
with the IRA. It was not a major part of the midterms. Republicans did not campaign against it in those midterms. When Trump was on the campaign trail, he would occasionally, this past fall, he would occasionally talk about it as a boondoggle or about the climate hoax, but it wasn't the main focus
Yeah.
of his campaign, and I don't think it was the main focus of his voters. He
Mm.
made a promise to the oil and gas industry that if they gave him, I think he said $1 billion, he
Billion
would give
dollar.
them
Yes.
anything
I
they
remember
wanted.
that.
Um, but in general, he was not running against the IRA.